Hi, I'm Huell Howser. You know, one of the exciting things about living here in Southern California is that our entire area is literally filled with artists, people who are doing very exciting and interesting work. And on this particular adventure, we're going to meet two of those artists and see firsthand the artwork that they're producing. If we don't get run over first, we're standing here right now in the middle of the brewery. This literally used to be a beer brewery down here in the middle of Los Angeles, and I'm standing with Guillermo Bert. Now, we met originally at a open house that they had here at the brewery. This place is filled with all kinds of artists. All of these are lofts, artist lofts up here. And I was down here on a Sunday afternoon, came into your studio and saw your work. And you're going to be one of the guys that we're going to be visiting with today, because your work is a little unusual, isn't it?
Well, you can call it that way. I mean, it's just my work, that's all.
Spoken like a true artiste. Here we are on almost the corner of 4th and Broadway. And why have you brought us here to this spot?
Well, this is one of my favorite sites. I mean, I get a lot of stuff from here. So, I mean, I'll show you how I get it and stuff like that.
All right, so. I'm ready. I'm curious.
All right. Well, these posters here is, well, you know, I mean, what's happening is that they, like in a weekly basis, they are filling with new, fresh posters right on top of each other. So they're creating all these layers, you know, different layers of information, basically.
Of posters, one on top of another.
Right, and they kind of rotate like with such a speed that you create these like 30 layers underneath. Sort of like, to me, they're like some kind of archaeological dig. You know, you find stuff that are varied for, you know, for a brief period of time.
Well, let's dig.
All right, let's get it out. And see.
So you're putting on your gloves. Oh, okay, here's what you're talking about. Look at this.
I mean, you see there, I mean, how, you know, all the different layers are being,
so you just pull it
varied.
off?
And you just pull it off, basically.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at all of these layers here.
So what you see is like, you know, different information being, you know, it's like a collage thing.
So you just keep pulling off? Can we pull off here?
Well, you can.
Now, does it make any difference whether it's a big piece like that or a little piece like that?
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky you can pull the entire wall off in one occasion. But
is this legal, Guillermo?
I never, I don't know.
I think it's legal. I hope it's legal.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, you know, I don't know if they have the right to paste posters in the street anyways, in the first place.
So you're helping clean up?
In a way, yes.
Okay. Well, we got the material.
All right.
And so, I'm sure our viewers are very interested in what you're going to do with it. I have already seen what you're going to do with it because I saw this first at the open house.
Right.
And it intrigued me so much that I wanted to follow up and do something on this. So we have the materials. We're at 4th and Broad, and we're on the way back a couple of miles to the brewery, to Guillermo's studio, to see exactly what he does with these layers and layers of stripped off posters from downtown. Okay, we're now back in the brewery. This is Guillermo's studio. We got the materials here. And what happens first?
Well, I just want to show you a little bit how I strip the paper so I can get the different layers, and then I start from there, collaging them into, you know, like the canvases or...
So it ends up... Well, let's give people just a quick preview of some of the things you do. This is a work in progress here.
Right. It seems like the whole thing developed into a language. I mean, the poster itself in the street, the way they peeled off and stuff, the way it showed different areas and how they repeat the color and everything is laid down in a certain way. So you have to kind of get familiar with it and start knowing the language. So when you put it back together, it seems like it's something that it really was built and constructed by accident through the layering process.
So these are bits of old posters that you've stripped down,
Absolutely.
And then you have painted
the images right on
wrestlers
right
on here.
Yeah, but the good thing about this material is that you can go back and forth. I mean, you paste stuff, paint it, and then you can peel them off right afterward. And then,
wait a minute, you just peeled off part of your painting.
right, and you can just really get going and just get back what it was underneath. So I mean,
it's a little bit of both.
So that way, I mean, in any case, you need like some breathing space and some areas. You just dig in and just, you know, get it, you know. I mean, instead of being
one or the other.
Right. And then you paint again, and then you keep on taking out and adding up. So, I mean, the material is something really great. You don't have to be worried about what, you know, you get dirt, you screw, you know, make screws and staple it. I mean, this is the best thing in the world to work in it. In this sumo wrestler, you know, I really like the fact that how it worked with this chicken, that it really is a KCT poster or something, you know, I found somewhere. This, you know, everything is there in the street. So I think I'm going to have a bunch of these heads of chickens all around this sumo wrestler. So it's just a matter of pasting it here, you know, with a staple gun. And that will basically stay, and that will, you know, glue them and, you know, just make it even.
And all of this is in relation to the sumo wrestlers, which still in the middle of them have bits and pieces of what's left of the posters, all incorporated as part of it.
Right. And on top of this, I layer it with acrylics and all the resins and all sort of other materials, so it gives more sort of like a broken surfaces and translucid, so it gets deeper into the technical aspect of it.
What was this art form called when you would collage, wasn't it, or decoupage, or what was the word?
Well, it's basically a collage.
Collage.
But you know, I'm painting on the collages, so it's not just the collage, but it's a, you know, there's several techniques that I combine to create these pieces.
Well, this is beautiful. We're out of time. This is spectacular. Nice. To think that something like this comes from something like this. This is what we took off the wall today, and it's real thick. It just goes on and on underneath here.
I think it's really important that the pieces have the flavor of the street, so I never lose that quality, and I think that's what it's called, LA Sites.
LA Sites. And this has been our visit with Guillermo Bert here in the brewery. I'm glad we met.
Absolutely.
I'm going to put your telephone number on the screen here so that if people want to call and talk with you about your art or find out more about it. It's a beautiful studio down here. This is where he does all of his work. And this is very interesting work. Thank you for sharing it with us. And now we're going to go on to artist number 2, who is very different.
All right.
His art is night and day from yours, but that's what makes art interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely, you know.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you here.